think it has to happen. Is it live?
Yes, we're live.
Yay! We're live. Hi, everyone.
Hello, everyone from beautiful, warm, sunny Miami.
It's getting sunny now.
Ah, nice to be in
warm weather. Warmer today. Happy Friday tea time. Let me just make sure. I want to make sure you guys are joining here because we had, let me just share this. Joining us here. Okay, here we go. Hi, Dimitris. Perfect. The other link. Good morning, Dimitris. Good afternoon, your time. The other link that we posted for some reason with live stream, it wasn't working. So can you hear me? Oh, good, loud and crystal clear. Hello, Doreen. So much love. I have to respond back to your message. I haven't gotten a chance to. So thank you so much for joining. Let's see, what tea are you drinking today? Let us know. So I'm having mushroom coffee with coconut. 1 second. They may not know what mushroom coffee is. It's not psychedelic mushrooms. This is the cordyceps with chaga mushroom with some coconut milk that I love so much. What are you having, Michael?
I have some chai masala tea.
Excellent.
Yeah, something good after a healing session, so I'm not too overly excited.
That's good. Herbal tea, yeah, that's what you're having. Doreen, are you having tea? Hello, darling. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so grateful. Happy Venus Friday, everyone. And, oh, you don't have to, that's okay, perfect, no problem. Thank you so much for being with us last week, these past 2 weeks, as we've gone through so much. And also we really felt like, yes, last week, Friday, we just couldn't, I couldn't really contain that space for this because I really needed to be with my own inner space last week, Friday. And so much took place from the 2 weeks of this incredible space. So I don't know which direction we go, but maybe we go from here forward. So let's talk about the energies because we just passed through 1212 Stargate. Doesn't it feel like there's just a relief? What do you feel, Michael?
I feel a very a softness, a levity that I think we both experienced since 11/11, moving to 12/12. There's just been so much transformation, so many activations, and a lot coming up. And so it's been amazing to be on the other side of it and just feel this this softness.
Do you feel this because we're in Miami?
Well, I mean, warm sun and beautiful weather helps, and it definitely goes through it. It accentuates it, but I feel even greater that we've gone through so much, and that it's like, I really feel, when you're climbing that mountain and there's moments where the rocks are falling or the snowstorms are hitting, you're just getting hit left and right, and when you reach that precipice or that spot at the very top, it's like we're holding that flag of victory because we know we've passed so many tests to get to where we are now, and to feel within that great expansion of like, wow, we did it. We didn't run away from it. We held strong. We did the highest, best we could possibly do to move through it. And so it's like someone's at the top of a mountain claiming victory. It's like, look at the journey that's been before us, and look how much we've covered.
So it does feel lighter.
In a lighter sensation. In a way, it's such a celebratory, because these are moments that they can really push you to a point that just can veer you in different directions.
But do you feel, Michael, that's like for everybody, on a collective level? Like, so when I'm referring to the 1212 energies, we just finished 1212 Stargate. So this was when the first 12 out of, for me, how many years now that I didn't so actively participate with, working with gateways or the stargates or anything like that. And just being, just you and I going on the beach and just receiving what we receive. And so it, for me, felt like, it didn't feel like pressure or anything. It just felt very light. Just so nice. We can just be there, and just, it feels like there's so much heaviness that's lifted, and be able to experience, like, from the night before. Just FYI, the night before, I had a very powerful dream with Michael and one of our other dear brothers, Jordan. They were in the dream, and there was a mothership above us, and all around us within, like, daylight, let's say, like the bushes and the trees and the sidewalks, everything, they were turning into codes of light, and it was illuminating. It would just, all the lights would come off and all the lights would go out from the mothership that was highlighting. It was pretty incredible. And there were a lot of other things that took place with the little, this different extraterrestrial beings in my dream. And of course, whenever I'm in Miami, I tend to have a lot of those experiences because of this portal here. And so what was so beautiful, some of you that may have seen this, it's so funny. I just want to take a moment to talk about this, because a lot of you is like, wow, I see fives. I saw fives all day. These are not fives, darling. Although they may look like fives, but they're not. So I happened to, I put the little video as the transmissions were coming in. And so I want to just take a second to explain to you what I was experiencing, because first I was seeing the center of this, which is two vesical Pisces that are like this. One is horizontal, one is vertical, and they're all spinning with each other. So we're talking about a 6 and 7 dimensional frequency that is in movement. So all of this is in movement. And then first event began with these keys, and these keys, so imagine when they're like this and they're starting to spin. One is spinning this way, the other one is spinning the other way. They're interlooping with each other. When they're looping, so the keys, when they're interlooping, their movement, they're creating frequency fields. So that's what the keys are. So they unlock the fields of codes, if you want to call it that. And then the codes start transmitting outward. So that's why this had to be there. And then the codes, I was able to, then write the codes. And one of my friends, Valerie, she's like, that's so interesting, because with this, it doesn't matter. I could go right to left, left to right, right to left. Like, there's no, it's not like English, or it's not like that. It's so automatic. There's absolutely no thought in that space setup, because it's a trance. And so, but because I'm experiencing this in above my crown, so it's about like 3 or 4 feet above, and they're gold, and they're spinning, and there's a part of my consciousness that's in it that's able to sound it out as it's coming, and then start writing it. And so during, like, when you see your code for your candle, that's what's happening. So it takes me, I move in that space. Anyway, point being, it was so beautiful experiencing this, because there's this lift of energy, there's this lightness about it. And I didn't have to go so deep into it. From 2 years ago where we were in it, I had to work with the actual timelines, adjusting the timelines with the specific key that was in my hand on the turquoise rock. So that was a whole different experience 2 years ago when we were in Tulum, Mexico, or when we were in Mexico, Merida last year. So here it was just easy because I didn't have to directly deal with it, and it was just more of a personal transition. And this one had to do with the Andromedan. And so it was the Andromedan axis, for those of you, and probably Demetrius will know how to access this more. Once you access it, then you're able to move through the corridor and then be able to experience like interstellar travel through there. Of course, you're in your light body, and you're able to experience just more of the higher dimensional frequency that is in resonance with you, and allow your light body to be in harmony with it. So basically that's what it is, because it just helps support your light body. So from a very, very technical perspective. So it was so nice to experience that, and for you and I just to be on the beach, though it was cloudy, though it was really windy and cold.
But the sun came
out. The
out.
sun came out a little bit, which was really nice.
It wasn't as cold as Maryland or
no, of course
it was
not.
more of a chilly, but it was very powerful to be on the beach, and most important, be in front of just the powerful element of the ocean, and in the ocean to fully honor, as any of us, if we're in an elemental frequency of earth, fire, water, wind, to really fully embrace that. And I feel embracing the water, embracing Miami, and just being open to what came forward in a very calm, light, flowing way. I know for myself it was beautiful, because for me 12-12 was really a deep activation of the cosmic love that was in my heart, and in that cosmic love.
So I still don't know what really took place. You just talked about this. I mean, I had. So we were going to talk about what happened, because we both experienced so much in it, but we just never really fully talked about it, just briefly, because I was in that, and a whole lot more happened. Anything you want to share that took place? Because you talked about you were in this, and this has been several days since Sunday, that presence of love that came forward.
I feel there's been as we spoke about, a dimensional shift personally, where this greater expansion of love in my heart, this ability to feel in such a deeper way, that when on 12-12, immediately what happened to me were these just golden rays that enveloped us as we were on the beach. And these golden rays brought through, obviously, many codes, many sacred geometric patterns. And obviously, when we were in that meditation, I'd love to express everything, but because it was such a long meditation, I can only remember some of the bigger pieces of it. And one of the bigger pieces was, as the energy was coming through, I really felt my body serve as this conduit of powerful energy that was pulsating outward. And as it was pulsating outward, there were moments where I was seeing these just rainbow colors come outward as Honey was across from me, and they were coming out this way, they were coming out this way, and they were coming out that way. And it was as if, well, not as if, but we were sitting in the earth, but in the center of it. In the center of it, it was pulsating, 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 which allowed these golden spirals then to envelop and wrap around the earth. And as that was doing, it felt as this just very, 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 very powerful cosmic ray that kept coming forward, like I guess like an orbit coming through and around, and coming through and around. And what I really felt was, it was as if a phoenix, rainbow phoenix, was coming up and around and going through the heart, coming through the earth, coming through the universe, and it's like this cyclical orbital energy that was moving through. And as it was whooshu and coming through, and whooshu and coming through. And it was powerful, because as it was coming through, the energy of my heart kept expanding, 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 to the point that my head felt so light. It felt like almost like this ultra high experience, and my head was expanding, expanding, expanding. And as it started to expand, it was powerful to feel that everything within my heart was just moving into, all I can say is just the highest feeling of love. Even afterwards, Honey saw that I was just in this mode of kind of like this goo-goo baby, very happy, reflectant time period that also touched our hearts 2 years ago on the beach in Tulum, and just gave me this feeling of like, wow, this outer deep expansion of the heart field. And it just, like, part of it kept moving, 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 moving. And I know that part of that energetic level was happening on a collective, because one part is for us, but another part, I feel there's so much being brought forward, that being present to it without letting the mind, without judging, without analyzing it, and just being the frequency of that, to feel that energy moving through the earth, moving through the area. And what I thought was a very powerful part of it was, when that was going, then I saw grid lines throughout the whole earth connecting where we were on Miami, which I thought was just powerful, being right on the beach, the water being the conduit, we being the vessels, and that coming through and then moving directly through us, and then channeling out to all the areas. And I know there was so much more. I definitely felt at one point there were dragons moving around. There was a point where I felt flames coming down. I felt the presence of angels, ascended masters, and just a deep feeling that we were completely supported what we were doing and the highest good for the whole planet and for the whole universe. I mean, it was like a very galactical scene of many colors, many vibrations. And from that date, and even from the previous Sunday, there's just been this greater expansion of my heart that has opened me up and really, allowed my mental body to feel just not in charge, or the mental judgment, or the areas that the mind wants to control. It shifted into a very deep heart loving space. So I'm very grateful for 12/12 and how it's opened up. And what would be beautiful, what is beautiful, is how that's even shifting and moving toward 12/21. I feel like it keeps rising from where we are now to 12/21, and even going into the areas that, like last night when I'm waking up from a funny dream and seeing, a powerful feeling of being left out. I'm like, wow, how that light shines? As more love shines, it's bringing forth areas, whether in childhood, teenage years, that are still being lifted to be cleansed and cleared. So
totally. And I feel that, thank you for that, Michael, because this 2018 has been really a tremendous, incredible year. Truly this gateway of 11, a master year. And then we went into the 11/11 with it. And then 2 weeks ago, Friday, what took place with that, the golden pink ray of the cosmic love. So interesting. It's like a few days before it, what transpired. And just as we shared, David was there and a few others, and Marianne too, some of the others with this pink ray. There's one thing to be like, oh, you're fluff love. The real divine love, this cosmic love, to bring it. I feel what we initiated or invoked into our space was very necessary. It wasn't planned, it just so-called happened. But in order to really work with the cosmic love flame, this pink golden ray of Paul the Venetian, so it seemed that within all of our bodies, they went through this invocation field. And when invocations are used, because they're used of the spoken words are then applied within the bodies, and the bodies and aspects wherever soul is trapped, wherever else, and whatever it is in the lifetime, it's really going to highlight, because it's bringing love to the density of it. So we experienced quite a bit. It was very tumultuous and difficult. Tumultuous, not in a disrespectful way or anything like that. It's just very difficult, very challenging between both of us, and what was necessary, because love had to be brought to it. And the way love is brought to it is the love within that is brought into that space. And within the space is the place where it hurts. And that has to be honored. So for me, my heart, there was an area that has been for several months in my heart. I keep feeling, even though as close as Michael and I are, we're so close. We do everything together. We live together. We teach together. We travel together. We share together. Like, it's just so much together. But there was something in my heart that I kept coming to. Something is not right. Something is not right. And then, on the outside side would be like, what's wrong with you? You have everything. He's an angel. He's amazing. So there's all of those judgments, right? But then in my heart, I knew there's a held energy, and it's very difficult to communicate what is that held energy. I can feel it, I can see it, and I can communicate it, but until the person is able to witness it within themselves, it's missed. It doesn't, it's just not receivable. So, this pink ray really brought a lot out in us. So that's why we needed time to adjust that within ourselves, and really from a deep place of love, deep place of respect, because we really love each other, and also not wanting the suffering, because there's an area in me that was just so much of pain that I didn't want it to repeat, and it did require an area to expand because it was health energy. So anyway, making a long story short, I feel that the gift of this is sometimes when we invoke these rays, they're so powerful. Like Doreen, you said, wow, like just by seeing your candle, I'm having so many experiences release. Yes, we are releasing because we're these things are illusion inside of us. They're dense energy. Somewhere our emotion was trapped and it's still stuck there and it hasn't been released. So when we bring love to it, then it gives us the ability to move forward. So last weekend for us was very, very challenging, and there were several things. Fortunately, of course, universe creates an environment where several things come up to help keep saying, "See, I told you so. I told you so. I told you so." So poor Michael had made choices that he received a lot of, "I told you so. I told you so. I told you so," to demonstrate, yes, see, it's closed, it's not open, or maybe universe is corresponding to me noticing that, so it's creating however way that is, it just was. And as a result of it, I woke up Sunday morning and I knew that time had come, that I just had to completely surrender to my heart and just listen to my heart. And that morning was very difficult because in my prayer, I really asked him above. I said, what am I supposed to do? And Mary Magdalene and Yeshua said, follow your heart. And my heart was to tell Michael, let's go apart. I'm moving forward because I can't go forward if this part doesn't open up. And it's very difficult, very, very difficult. We had a very difficult time. So in the morning, though we wanted to have a few days of space, me coming to Miami to have my own time, it just didn't feel right. I was like, I don't want to go through that. I want this answer now. We're either going to go forward or we're not. And I had to just honor that, and I move into it with trust and just total trust. So I brought it to Michael. I was like, Michael, you either in or you're out. If you're in, I need to know 100% with no doubt whatsoever that you're in and you're not going to close the store. But if it's not for you, you also have to move forward. We have to both move forward because it's not fair to both of us. Like I have a clear vision, and it's funny, you have a calling too, but we just cannot give our attention energy to fear. We can't serve the light if you're giving to fear, especially if you're unaware of the fear. So it was so I had to rise to surrender to my heart, really surrender and trust. And I just sat there, and it was pretty much an ultimatum. It was an ultimatum I gave to Michael. I was like, okay, you have by the end of the day, you decide. And if you decide, you need to demonstrate to me you're very serious. But it was amazing because I'll let you talk about it, Michael, briefly, because although it's a very difficult place to be in, but I felt I had no choice. I had to just fully express it. And as the sacred divine feminine, not betraying my heart, not betraying my truth, and not just because you're an amazing guy, you're a great guy, and and just keep saying, okay, maybe we'll get better. No, like just total place of truth and trust. If it has the fire and the flame, it will go forward. If it's not, then it won't, because it only has to align from this point forward more. Otherwise, it goes further apart. So,
and I feel there's also some pieces leading up to it that are very important to bring up. In that, throughout the week, there was very deep heart-to-heart communication. I find one of the gifts that we all have, especially if there is triggers or there's energy that's rising in either a lack of communication or not clear communication. What I'm very grateful with Honey is the ability for us to talk through it and to really go deep into it and to really see what is arising, knowing that even myself, being an individual, that there's things that I'm working on and there's things that Honey's working on. And obviously there are patterns and there's things that have happened, with previous marriages, with the sacred masculine divine, and to be aware of what I'm doing and also bringing that up now in a two-way focus. Obviously, there's that gift to see what's going deeper, but there's also that element of how much that trigger is causing pain and hurt. And I find that was one of the pieces I felt very valuable on Sunday, was really to sit down and in the heat of it, because sometimes our emotional body, our mental body, there's so much that's happening, that to listen and to feel what is arising and what's coming up for both of us, what's happening in a way that is allowing it.
I was so angry, frustrated, angry, and this pink thing brought out so much of that anger and frustration.
And I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. At that point, there was a shift of when you were so angry and frustrated, that when speaking about the trigger and speaking about when something comes up, how it's bringing up the healing. It's bringing up something we get to look at. And I'm very proud and inspired to see that you really sat there and listened to all the pieces that you've done, because a lot of us, we do all of our work, but sometimes there's just even deeper things that we're not aware of. And to really see the forgiveness, that the hardest part of the forgiveness is the forgiveness of ourselves, and really creating the time and space to understand the final piece of letting go of the anger, the frustration, and really what I find the most gracious part, the pattern that keeps coming and keeps coming and keeps coming, until that place of forgiveness within ourselves to fully accept that pattern then dissipates. Even within a couple of days before that, in going into what I felt, okay, I need to go within myself to see, where is this held back energy coming from? What is it that's preventing me not to expand my love to the highest level? And so,
and love and the expression of it, right?
And so I find that many of us, and I speak to myself when I say this, and I speak to many that are watching, and many in our collective, that our fullness of our expression of who we are and what we are is still held back due to pain, due to trauma, and really due to times that we may have felt shamed, we may have felt bullied, or we just don't feel supported in that time frame. So to be and to express that fullness. And so I realized, before Sunday, I'm just backtracking to lead it back up, where the held back energy was within myself, was really recognizing as a child and as a teenager, I'm really diving deep into my own spiritual evolution and what was brought for me in the gifts, my parents, that my friends, the outer circumstances of where I grew up never supported that. And as much as I thought they were, joking around, bullying me, at that point, I tucked all that under, because I just did not feel accepted. I didn't feel like I could express the truth of what was coming forward. And I really couldn't share that joy and excitement of all the openings that were happening. So Thursday, I went under the pyramid, I meditated, I just cried and cried of all the sadness and pain of just not being able to express my truth.
You said you were so surprised the amount that it had an impact, but you never realized.
I never realized
it was so hidden.
It was so deep within that I wasn't aware that my fullness of expression, excitement of what I wanted to share, I tucked it all under.
Right.
So in that form, it gave me this limited amount of expressing of what my truth was. And in that expression, I felt as a child, and where I could see this many times, is wanting to express my full truth, wanting to express what I really love and what I really feel, but being in a part of the country or being in an area that didn't quite accept it, didn't quite honor it, didn't quite value it. If anything, kind of joked around and bullied in it, that not only did I go in, but I boarded all of that up, which I see in many of us when we're vulnerable and we want to express our pain. If we don't have the support to hold that energy, or any of us now, when we express all that, but we don't receive just the cushion and nourishment and compassion of love, then we even go deeper and hold that back. So I found that was a part of me that I was really surprised that there was components of my early childhood that was all boarded up, and to see where that shame, where that lack of acceptance, and really where that lack of commitment was within myself, because I wasn't accepting myself. I wasn't accepting the love within me. So if I wasn't accepting that within myself, then I can't bring that outward to those that I love, because I realized there was a limitation.
You are bringing it, but you're not bringing the full expression of it, and that's been the big inquiry between us. You know, it's so dissonance, because I was like, you all see Michael, those of you who've seen it, just such beauty and love is there, but in expression is constantly this held, and I could never understand, because I'm with him all the time, so I can feel it. We share so much of the vibration. I like not understanding, and I keep bringing it up, but it's like the light keeps bending. What is going on? So it was such a huge inner discovery for Michael, again, due to this invocation of this cosmic ray, the pink golden ray, where also for me, I've been fully aware of the pains. None of it is new, and all the deep forgiveness, healing, the journey, so much has taken place. And the other part, in order for me to move forward to the next phase of that, is I need to be held in that energy of that safety of it, without Michael contributing on top of it. So that's what we recognize. So this flame really shined the area on both our parts, and then it was brought to the choice. What choice needs to take place? So of course I was very frustrated, because I kept wanting Michael to see what I'm able to see, but he couldn't fully see it till Sunday. It was the ultimatum, and then
and so it was really powerful, because she wanted, well, at that point when she expressed her truth and expressed, okay, tonight I really want you to, tonight to show and to express everything that like,
at Ascension, I said, Michael, I need to move forward. I can't betray my heart. I can't. You have it. If you're called to it, okay, you need to demonstrate to me clearly. You have till tonight. Clearly, I have zero doubt that you're 100%, not one step, not baby step. You are jumping with both feet. Your whole, everything is jumping. You're taking a leap of faith, right? That jump. I don't want to hear anymore. Well, I'm taking babies. No baby step. Sleeves rolled out, you're in or you're out. That's it. It was so clear, because diamond frequency is clear. So, and I would love for you to talk about that area of your, like, the head energy, and I feel that's a lot of value to share that.
My mind went.
Hi Nancy, hi Gia, thank you for joining us.
Immediately my mind had a little shift, because obviously the one thing that doesn't make me feel comfortable is just any type of pressure, or any type of, like, when I hear the word ultimatum, it started to make me feel fearful. Like, if I don't say this, what happens if I do this wrong? So it was interesting the amount of pressure that the mind immediately thought of. And I actually came to Honey and I said, when saying this is creating this is creating that. Yet when I look at it, how funny it is to see that the mind.
But hold on. But just read it. Yeah. I don't want you to walk over it lightly, Michael, because
I'm
it was so powerful. Because I went quiet, then I went inward. I was busy with creating the candles and all of that, and then because first, like whatever was your decision, right, and then. What was your mental body experiencing, and then right?
Yeah,
okay, thank you.
That the mental body, when digesting it, the mental body started to create all these fears, and in all the fears of the mental body was then started to come out with, is this good enough? Is there something that I'm going to do that's not sufficient? Like all the fears start to move higher up into my own mental body, and I wasn't coming from a place of my heart. I wasn't coming from the feeling of my heart. I was actually
like, what were some of the fears you were facing? Because it was a short amount of time. Obviously,
I felt the fear was, one of the fears was when I felt that, if in the morning, because you were very angry, and because the field of vibration, sometimes when someone's very angry or they just lost it, then one of my fears was, well, if she's closed off, she's angry, am I just set up for failure? Am I set up for something that the fear of failure started to come up, because it was like, well, she's already angry, she's already upset, she's already given an ultimatum, and I'm going to express the highest, but yet, is it even going to work? Because if someone's not ready to receive, then everything I'm expressing could go at a different place. So I thought, well, maybe. So my mind was thinking, well, is this a time that give someone some patience and peace and just allow it just to soften? Because really, in my mind was thinking in communication, when we want to share communication, hopefully we're at a aligned place where the angry teenager or the part of the body that's still wanting to reject, is there a moment where they can actually listen to what's coming forward? So that was one fear that came up. Another part was because there was so much triggering. And because there was so much triggering, it's like what I love when you said create space for Miami. It's like, okay, if there's triggering happening one day and then triggering happening another day and triggering, then stop the triggering. Just cease the triggering so that there just can be a pause, so that there just can be a level of no more fighting, no more, because like sometimes when the triggering gets so much that, my mind was thinking, whatever I say, whatever I do, is there still going to be some part of anger or pain that's still being expressed outwardly? And now obviously, the fear of is this the appropriate timing? I looked at myself and I said, okay, sometimes, and I saw this earlier, that for me to sit with it, to meditate, to process it, part of my mental body was saying, okay, I'm processing so many things right now. Have I fully processed that feeling of lack of acceptance? Have I fully processed what was being triggered in those days? Because if that's not feeling fully processed, then am I blocking myself?
Right.
So I feel all these pieces were coming up, yet the power that I felt that really lifted and really brought into a new phase was when given the opportunity to rise. That's when in my heart I go, okay, now it's time to go into a place that I feel confident and strong, because deep within we know that there's a deep love and there's a deep connection. So instead of moving to my brain, I went to then move directly into my heart and then have fun, use creativity, use excitement, have the ability to take what was given to me, and then instead of coming from the mental body, which of course it was triggered, and of course there were moments, but then shifting that and saying, no, I'm not going to let my mental body control this by fear. I'm going to move into my heart and express what I want from how I feel. And from how I feel, it was a beautiful moment to take some wonderful candles, make a diamond altar, buy some beautiful roses, take some very heart-centered crystals, and prepare something that I felt I'm just going to go directly into my heart. And going directly to my heart, there was no right or wrong. I'm just going to present, to express, and to know there's whatever happens, as long as there's truth from the heart, then that's all there is, because we can't deny the truth from our heart. All we can do is express that truth. So in that, I thought it was really amazing to see the shift of the mental body's brain of worry, then shifting it into a phase where I could sit into my heart, I could feel the excitement, and I could just share what was going on here, share how I could take these 2 years and recognize and give as much deep communication from what it felt from 12/12, from when we connected 2 years ago, and to bring forth the depth of what my heart felt, the depth of a ceremony, by really bringing forth my voice, my expression, and the trueness of just letting it all go, letting emotions, diving deep into such a vulnerable, sensitive place that, as you said, a power that even was greater, that shifted into even a higher vibration, allowed me to really feel deep within how I can not only express, but not hold back, not even like for an instance, give any type of doubt, give any type of anger, give any type of stress, worry, anxiousness, things that can easily cloud the field, but just go directly into the heart. And it was this experience, this beautiful energy that it just felt like my body expanded in this greatness of like, okay, here I am, and here's my love. Now how can I fully express in a way that she can feel it, that she can honor it and celebrate it in a way that there was no other way that she would not be able to not feel it or hear it. And so the gift that I really thank Honey is I felt that yes, this was placed for her, but it was through you that allowed me to see the greatest version of myself. The gift of you presenting this to me allowed me to rise even deeper, and in that depth that you allowed me, which I'm very, very thankful for. There was parts of me that came out in such a truth that I was like, wow, it's here. Now express it. And when I look back, I'm like, well, why was I waiting so long to express it? Why did it have to get to this point? And as Honey has said to me many times, it's interesting how, men rise when there's a feeling of like you're going to lose everything. Everything's going to all of a sudden fall. So it's time to stand up and to express that. And so as the tears were falling, as the energy came, it was so interesting when you said, well, how do you feel? Yeah. And to feel in my heart that there was nothing stopping me. There was not a fear. There wasn't this doubt. There was nothing. It was like Superman, you're invincible, that infinite place where once the heart can fully express its truth, and all of a sudden it was, well, there's no reason to hold back. There's not even anything to do that. And so I felt that this was such a monumental shift because we spoke about this. It was almost this dimensional change where we both felt that through this experience, we moved through this, I guess we should say reality, this shift of reality to fully feel that expansion rise. And as that expansion rise, I felt our communication in that moment through a ceremony, surrounded by fire, and the transformation brought forth what we were given, the biggest test. And in that biggest test, I feel love, that power brought forward our truth. So I thank you, love, for fully being there, because even when she came up the stairs, I was taking the Palo Santo, and I was like, wiping her off.
Let me just put a couple of things in. So what happened Sunday, I really love everything Michael shared, because sometimes we put in this position, and out of love, like really out of love for me, out of love for Michael, I was like, I let go. And I move forward, because I can't take him to the place. He has to do it himself. I can see it. And a lot of times you can see another, but they may not see it in themselves, and they have to be given the opportunity. So, if I'm feeling this space of doubt, I don't want to have doubt in our space. It has to be 100% clear. And I'm not taking 99% or 95%. For me, it's 100%. It's either this or this, no in-between state. Diamond frequency doesn't enjoy in-between state. It has to be totally clear, because when the light comes in, light has to go out. And when you're sharing let's say, divine union, when the light comes in, light blasts out. And if there's any space that's withheld energy, light bends and it bounces. It doesn't feel good. It has to totally be free to expand. So that Sunday, as difficult as that was, I really felt held by my team, by my divine love. And I moved into that trust. And though middle of the day, Michael came and I let go of the expectation, or I let go of the outcome. I was ready. I said, if you're not ready, then we go apart, we start. And if you're ready, then we move forward from this moment on. So it's very, very clear. And sometimes we women are not very clear. And I feel in order for something to take place, you have to be simple and clear. There's nothing in between anymore. And that clarity helps the other person to come to their own clarity. So I feel...
remember when you...
Well, I feel like middle of the day when you came, we had several hours, I feel at some point you decided, oh my gosh, like I'm going to do this. I'm really going to do this. So at first you came and I could tell there was a little panic in you, and I gave no attention to that because at this point it didn't. And I honestly didn't know how you were going to do it. But when you called, you said, are you ready? Michael went changed and I was downstairs. He said, you ready to come upstairs? I was like, okay. And again, no expectation, nothing. I went upstairs and as I came, he had the Palo Santo. He said, Palo Santo, and me like this. I was like, what? Wow, take it easy. Like, what's going on here? He wanted to clear because he knew I was. Like, but at that point, I was right. Earlier.
If there was any lingering, if there was any energies that wanted to hold on to the vibration, it was cleansing.
And I could hear Michael. He was doing something upstairs. So I was very focused, just inward music and just very, very inward state. So anyway, so when I went up, I saw this beautiful setting that Michael had created with a lot of candles, and he put candles everywhere on the floor. He created diamond-shaped candle with the white rose that I love in a very specific pattern, and he put an altar in the middle of it, and it was so beautiful, just so beautiful. And I was going to just observe. That's it, just be a witness and see, okay, what does he want to share? What does he want to show up? And I'm just looking for truth. That's all. So as Michael invited me to sit, and it was so beautiful. He was so raw. He took the drum and he started drumming and singing in front of me, which he never does. It was a very raw space, which I really appreciated, the rawness. I just really melt in the presence of truth and that beauty of divine truth. And he just open blasted himself in just expression. And that's what I was looking for. I felt like I just wanted to be a witness of expression. And he always speaks truth. There isn't anything that you don't, but it's just sometimes it's not the strength of the truth that is beheld by the divine underneath it. And it's the passion, it's the fire, is so strong and it's gracious, but it has like a presence that is undeniable. Whenever we're in front of that, you're just touched by it because there's nothing that helps that presence. And so it was a beautiful 1 hour sitting in front of Michael and him expressing. And it was so beautiful, Michael. And that's what I wanted to witness that. But what was so much more beautiful for me was to have Michael experience that directly within him, that I knew is in him. And I'm just fishing around for several months. What's going on? Why are you holding this gift from yourself? It's making me freaking mad. Like, why are you not allowing it to go? And I just couldn't comprehend in any way because I could feel it's withheld and it was putting so much pressure here again. So watching that in my court, it was so beautiful, and to the depth that you allowed in the rawness of the expression, in the vulnerability, and then to also watch like the true power of it and the true liberation. And that's why I asked Michael, I said, how do you feel, Michael? He's like, I feel great. I was like, isn't it amazing? It was just a switch. And I had told him earlier, I said, Michael, I can only speak, those of us who've come on this side, it's literally a one-time switch. And it turns on and it doesn't turn off. You don't do it 100 times. So from Sunday, today's Friday, has it turned off? Mm-hmm. Hasn't it stayed? Isn't it stable? Mm-hmm. Can't you count on it? And it's not me, it's your own, right? Mm-hmm. So how do we help people experience that? It's a direct experience that you can only give to yourself. Sometimes we have loved ones in our presence that help invoke that. And when it happens, it's the gift. And I told Michael, I was like, you experience this. I'm really, first, the gift is you. I happen to be next to you that I will, sort of like receive the benefits of it, because from that day on, I've been experiencing the benefits, and it feels amazing. And this is all I wished for. This is what I wanted. This is what I hoped for. This is what I had seen in the vision. And the struggle was because it wasn't matching the vision that was given, and I followed the vision. So then to experience it's like, wow, and then others will experience it. So it's not ever for you, it's for one part is for you, one part is for everyone. And the other thing was, so after that,
let me just follow that.
Sure.
Is I really feel that the empowerment, liberation that came through was allowing that vulnerability, allowing that vulnerability to come forward, because many times we feel this vulnerable place, and there's that program or belief that there's this vulnerability of weakness, or this vulnerability of like, oh, I'm too raw, I can't express it because I'm feeling a little overclamped, tears start coming. Yet in that vulnerability was such a infinite place to just feel the tears as I was drumming.
Yeah.
You can feel the tears of just...
You didn't have any judgment of yourself, did you?
Just feel the tears of just love, and the tears of just how that could be expressed without worrying what was going to be put forward. And so those tears just kept opening up more and opening up more. And I felt like, you always say it's a great expression, but these tears of God were at one point washing away the pain that I felt so deep. And at the same time, it kept opening up my heart to express more.
Wash your own judgment.
Wash my own judgment.
You, right?
And it kept, I feel like that vulnerability.
And liberated you.
It was that liberation of the vulnerability, liberation of the emotions, and liberation of just the fullness of the expression, because we I know I do. I know we do. We sometimes hold back our fullness expression because we've expressed sometimes so much, and in the reciprocation of it, we've hurt, we've felt pain, and all of a sudden there's that mental buzz. Well, I'm not going to do that again. Well, that's not going to feel good. Why am I going to put myself out there? Yet when there was that opportunity to fully express and just give it all you got and express from such vulnerability.
Really you gave 100% plus.
Right.
You gave it all. You didn't help out. And that's all I wanted to witness. Right. And I wanted you to witness that within you, how freeing that feels and how open you felt.
I felt very, I felt very pure. I felt like it was the ability to recognize such truth and to feel it come through. What we all know is this is the brain. The heart is the brain.
The true brain is here.
To have it come through here, it awoken me to such a higher level, because I can speak this from the masculine point. The mental body wants to control so much of what we think we know. Yet when I let that mental body be placed back in the corner, say, okay, mental body, this is what you think you know, this is what you realize, but let's now feel from the heart and express from the heart. A whole new level of communication came forth that not only brought me to a next level, but it it's beyond words of that.
And your creativity. So it was interesting. I was asking Michael, I was like, Michael, when you surrender in your heart, you decide to create this sort of ceremony for us in honoring us, this space, and in honoring you standing up for the love that you feel for me. Was it pressure? He's like, no. Was it stressful? He's like, no. He's like, oh, it was joyful. I felt excited, right? I felt creative versus 2 hours before from your head, the same reality, right? You from your head, it was stressful, it was panicking, all of that. Isn't that so fascinating? Just a tiny little same thing, right? This one experiences this way, this one experiences it this way, and it's both part of you. Isn't that so fast? So that's what we always talk about. Why are we giving? We're the driver of this. Why are we giving the navigation to this that's always panicking, freaking out, nervous, doesn't know what to do? And when we give it here, it's like joyful and amazing and creative and infinite, right? And what I loved about it, because then we really held each other, and I wasn't going to jump into it. I just want to hear it. I wanted Michael to really feel that presence within himself. And he did. After about an hour, then we held each other, we talked, and and then I said, Michael, let's go into meditation. And I felt that was the most incredible experience for both of us. When we sat under the pyramid in our room, in front of each other, so we usually every Wednesday we sit in our meditation. It's a quick meditation that we do. And this one, as soon as I started breathing the blue light, right away I started like tearing up, because immediately I saw a team above. First, I saw right away Moria and Mary Magdalene and Yeshua, Mother Mary, Archangel Michael, several of them. And I started seeing, and I've seen this before, they were all clapping, good job, you passed the test. And suddenly I recognized, oh my gosh, wow, we passed the test. And I've experienced some of this before, very difficult period where I've had to surrender all the way to the depth of my heart, and they always come to reward. And it was jarring, because I never put that together somehow, this case. And then what I saw immediately was El Moria came and put a blue cape around me, and he looked at me with just this I don't want to say gratitude, but well job, just reverence. Saying reverence, well job, well done. And then I looked to my right, Michael was next to me. I was like, wow, he's here too. And so Moria put a blue robe, a velvety robe around Michael. And then I saw, and we were in some kind of temple in the upper plane. And so all of them were like, wow, you passed the initiation test. And suddenly I was like tears and tears of truth were coming. Oh my gosh, we both passed the test of total surrendering to our heart. And how necessary that was before 12 wrapping this year up, going into 2019, and 12 of them have 1221 and going to that, and how incredible within that window is. And from there, Yeshua and Mary Magdalene led us to this area with Saint Germain. It was so beautiful. And I mean, we came out just hugging each other, tears, and I had zero doubt. That space of doubt that I've been struggling for weeks, it was like it was washed away like this. And since that, I have not had any doubt. The flame has been very strong.
And you felt that in that meditation, that we were placed back in the egg.
Oh yeah. And then the next thing I saw, we were placed back in this egg, because we've been out of this cosmic egg. And the egg was sealed up, so we were back in it. And the 7 sacred flames were washing the fields around us and purifying our fields. I said, oh wow, we're back in that that we're not back, but we're in that protective field of that cosmic egg, which was so amazing. And so today's Friday, and we've been going through this. We traveled, for example, we faced a bunch of things between traffic and this and that, getting here, but nothing is affected. It feels so solid. Doesn't it feel solid, this space? Like, I don't want to put words in it, but I want you to speak to what this is, because this is a space that I know depth of truth here. And I want you to speak to that, because one can only speak once they've experienced it, and you don't go back.
Right. I mean, I feel that this ceremony, this experience was such a test. And I love how you said it was to surrender. And I feel that in every moment we have the chance to surrender. You know, I can easily allow this mental body to go to the future, to go to the past, and always a conflict to keep going. But if I surrender, and in that surrendering, what you said is so beautiful. I'm glad you said that, surrendering to the heart. In that surrender, there was nothing but truth. Truth of the love that I feel for Honey. Truth of the 11,000 years that we always joke about, and what we've connected with. The truth that, yes, it's been a turbulent 2 years of you name it. And yes, tests being thrown around us constantly. And yes, the mind trying to search for excuses of what these tests were, if it's coming back to America, Father, whatever it was, yet that is that means nothing until that can be brought into what the heart feels. And in that experience, the heart it opened so grand that there was no other choice but to love. And to feel that love, and to embrace love.
But to experience directly the power of love, isn't it a different feeling?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
it's a very different feeling. It doesn't feel weak, right?
Well, the power of love, there's an authenticity, a purity, a realness that there's nothing stoppable. There's nothing that can actually impair it. All I can feel from it is just this strength, this courage, this deep power that, I mean, it's hard to really express in words, because it's beyond.
It's such a direct experience.
It's beyond the words.
And I feel why we're spending a lot of time on this, and thank you for joining us, because that image was evoked 2 weeks ago today with this cosmic love flame. and I feel that within us, it wasn't, it had started before. The amount of love we have for each other is absolutely there, but it needed to rise to its true state. And perhaps there's more to come even after this, in order to be able to be sustained in the cosmic love flame. Paul the Venetian's ray of light, this third flame, the pink golden flame, it is so incredible. It's so powerful. It's truly no joke. And you cannot just play with it. It is playing with freaking fire. It will blast fire everything, so that you're only sitting with its truth. And if you're not in the truth, through its revelation, it is revealed to you there is a BS belief system or belief systems that have to come out to adjust to the true belief system of this, because through that, then creation energy can easily flow, and it's not then limited in any way. And I feel that's what we needed our space last week. There was so much going on, and then coming here, we're so looking forward to doing this, just again as a vehicle of sharing. We have nothing to gain out of here by doing this live cast with you, other than I feel from no place of obligation, from no nothing like that, just from the true essence that we are bringers of light. Michael and I are, and those of you on here are bringers of light. We as bringers of light are here to shine light, we cannot shine density. We've been experiencing a lot of density. We've been experiencing a lot of harshness and all of that. But we have to bring that light to the areas of density within ourselves to transform it before we can really bring it to others. And sometimes outside is sometimes easier than inside because we still have passion to help and support and be there. However, we're being pushed to take this energy inward and really directly apply it, because in order for the team of light to fully extend this beaming light, you can't have these heavier energies that are of illusion to be its operating system. Because so I'm not saying, I want to just be careful with this, so you know what I'm not saying that, for example, feeling belittled, this and that, they're not valid. They're very valid. They could be in your field, and it may take a little bit longer for that to transform out of your field. All I'm saying, simultaneously, it exists right now, the opportunity for your heart to 100% be surrendered, because there's something you know, okay, this is not right, this is not right, this is not right. You know it. But as long as we betraying that heart, we're not living in its fullness of truth. Once we say, okay, I surrender, I won't betray it, I have to do this, and then things get put into motion and movement.
And surrendering to the heart, I felt, which is beautiful, when there's that surrendering to the heart and that feeling to the heart, the beauty that took place is that celebration.
Yes.
And in that celebration, we owe not only our loving partners, but we owe ourselves to celebrate that heart within, because it's necessary to celebrate our own heart and be able to feel our own heart in that celebration, so that we can celebrate with another. If we're not celebrating and honoring and loving and valuing and nurturing and supporting our own heart, then we are holding back that energy. And as many
and celebrating others.
And celebrating the others.
Right.
So I know that one of the biggest things, and I speak this to many of the feminine energy, the ladies, the women, because men, somewhere along the journey, whether it's been their family, whether it's been programming, whether it's been the mental body, is just so activated that men have a hard time of expressing. And I feel grateful as Honey has given me the opportunity, as I hope many that are with these individuals that are just not expressing, to really allow that opportunity to give the support, the patience, the love, right, so that we can rise, because it is in there. It's that key, it's that vessel, it's the way of how the men can tap into their trueness of their heart and express that, so that they can feel it. Because once they feel it, then truth is going to come through. It's just in that celebration, which many are not doing, need to look how important this heart, how this is our center. This is our most powerful point. And when we did this ceremony, that celebration not only ignited the flame, it brought forth so much truth of, well, this is what we not only have to do, we need to honor this heart space. We need to create more time in this heart space, if not daily, weekly, because many of us, as we know, can overextend. We have so many responsibilities. Yet when we celebrate in the mornings, when we celebrate in gratitude in the evenings, when we celebrate each other and celebrate life, then there's this natural flow, this natural rhythm.
And we're celebrating love.
Right.
Like not the human limited love. We're celebrating divine love in recognition that we are a divine being in form. We're standing up to love. And I feel too much in our programming and condition, love has been from such a place of weakness and sort of like manipulation or that
limitations.
We don't want to say that.
A limited love that hasn't given us the opportunity to feel, because.
And so you don't send. And another thing I find, like, often there's that like hiding back of the love. Like there's people are embarrassed to you know, really celebrate each other in its love and its beauty because it makes other people uncomfortable or that. Just hold that back. And there's a consciousness in that, because love ignites more love. Love inspires. Love lifts. It's a river of everything. And if you're not standing up for it, and I feel like generally speaking, those in female form, we've had more of the readiness to stand up for love, and we've been waiting for the men to rise in that celebration, standing up for love, and to help wash some of those programming. And I feel one of the things I shared with Michael, I said, Michael, you grew up in a spiritual family. You grew up with love. You've been a love child. You've been supported. If you don't stand up, what chance these other men that are supposed to be sacred, divine, masculine have? I was like, you're supposed to lead the sacred, divine man. If you're holding it, like, seriously. And I felt that was really the deepest sadness for me. And we can't do it. We know it, but I just can't. And how sad. Like I said, my God, like I want to feel that space of your own liberation where you get to enjoy the full presence of you, just the fullness, and how freeing that feels. You know, and so that you can. And I'm so happy we experienced such difficult 2 weeks, because now you have a language, full direct experience of language, so that you can help the fellow men. Oh, I know that. And then to speak directly, because in the female world, I can tell you, Michael, it's a one switch. Like that morning, Sunday, I said, Michael, it's a one switch, one time. But only you, when you experienced that moment, when you decided, okay, I'm going to turn on the switch, somehow you did it. And only you can communicate it to the fellow brothers.
Yeah.
You know,
it's beautiful. Yeah. I thank you for this expression, because I feel in this activation, which thank you for the purple and gold, because I feel as we speak, there's an activation, there's a sharing, and there's a rawness of your contribution being here writing, as well as an activation between both of us, because we feel honored we can share this, and we feel grateful that. Do
you feel shame and embarrassment that we went through such difficulty?
Well, I feel the truth of it all is, you know,
and I'm sorry, and the amount of people that reached out to us, said, like, we love you, we don't want you guys to go apart, we love you, like, can we help? Wasn't that incredible?
Well, I mean, I look at,
we didn't ask for it either. Did we reach out to anybody and need help? No.
I feel what's so special about all of this is on any journeys, on any missions, on any adventures, there's going to be tests. Right. And it's hard to say that no one doesn't get tested, but even more, it shows the reality that me, that you, that each person watching, that we are living human experience. Right. And I feel that many times as we go through this, we can get distracted because we are human beings. And in this human beings, it makes everything more authentic, that we can relate to each other, we can share with each other, we can support from our hearts as saying, yes, what's happening between you and your partner, it does happen to us. And the more that we sign up for the depth of what we want to go through so that we can share to a higher level, comes the bigger tests that allow this to come forward. And so I feel that in my life and with you, there's never a regret, because everything is a building block to learn, to grow, and to evolve from it, and to really to share so people can fully feel that we are standing right beside you. We are feeling, and to understand that this is happening in reflection to what's happening to the collective. This is reflecting to what I love what you said, Maida, is the older generations that weren't able to express.
No.
They weren't able to show and take nothing away, right or wrong, good or bad. It was just that generation that just didn't have the ability to show what our true divinity is. And the more that our divinity is coming through us, the more we can recognize and say, okay, well, this generation, this didn't happen. That's okay. Well, this didn't happen. Well, that's okay. And we keep moving forward and how we can keep revealing that truth within us, because that truth then gives us that rise of the power that's naturally built within our heart, and to share the love and to share that with you and to speak the rawness of it, then gives us this feeling of like, wow, it comes through us. We communicate it. We surrender to it. We live it. And then really what I hope to believe with all is it doesn't become this impossible, or what I hear with many people, it's too difficult, because we know that difficult never stops us. Sometimes difficult actually raises us to push stronger through, because difficult's like, oh, is difficult going to stop me?
No.
And yet when we feel that, oh, gosh, they're going through it, we can feel it. There's a sigh of relief that the collective's going through. Well, there's a sigh of relief that I am here. And what we've spoken through the past couple of days is, isn't it interesting that each of us are standing in front of every one of our ancestors?
Yeah.
And each of us are the forefront saying, whatever our ancestors could not do, we are now here to hold that torch and saying, thank you for passing the baton to allow me to do what I can do. Not in judgment, not in blame, not in what's coming through, what they couldn't do. It's what now we're allowing ourselves to move through us, because then we transform all that has not been given. Now we get to hold that and feel that, and guess what we do? We pass that down to the next generation.
That's right.
And we pass that down to the next one without a single ounce of woulda, coulda, shoulda, just through the heart.
And I feel, Michael, the other part of this is so important. Exactly that is that. So, the older, like I come from the Middle East, being able to speak on camera, right? Like, okay, we're going through a challenging, never ever. But what women would do, they would tell the other ones, oh my God, and they'll badmouth the partner. That's typically how it was done. Like, say, oh, he's not doing this, he's slacking off, da 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 da. I never did that. I didn't reach out to anyone. One of my friends just messaged, and for me it was very clear. Michael and I are going through this. So I did not give into any shame or embarrassment. It was, okay, this is what is. And from what is here, we're going through this incredible, challenging space. But I'm fully aware there are a lot of gifts that will come out of this. Let's see how we'll do ourselves. Very much that's it, because I'm honoring my heart. And by expression does not make me less spiritual, does not make me less evolved, those are the things. If I indicate that we are going through this area within our relationship, we might even come apart, that we're not a divine couple. These are all the, unfortunately, or programming within the consciousness that is evolving. I feel, if anything, it's more brave, it's more courageous, it takes a lot more guts. And what that, for me, I have understood so clearly is that the dark energy has no hold over me. When I'm standing up to me, there is no dark that can affect me, because I am embracing my shadow. I'm embracing the love. I'm embracing this shadow space to bring light to it. So it was interesting. I didn't reach out to anybody, but I had several people like, oh my God, honey, we're here for you. We're here. If you need to talk. I was like, no, I'm totally cool with this space. Not from arrogance. I'm just honoring the space between us, and let's see how we'll do. And by sharing that, then we are stopping the lineage of our family, that they didn't reach out, that they drowned themselves in shame and embarrassment, or let us not share it because it will look bad, like we don't have our shit together, right? We refuse to give into that. And I feel by sharing is caring, because we're communicating that the divine being is coming into the human experience. So I actually have a different understanding. I am not a human being. I'm a divine being in the human experience. And I'm choosing to honor my divinity in all areas of my life, bringing the divine qualities, divine virtues of my essence into my beingness here on earth. So that's how I feel, Michael. And so and every time I say, well, there's a human experience that's having a trouble, I am choosing to evolve out of that, to say, no, in the ascended state, I am a divine being, and I'm bringing the qualities of my ascended being into my human experience. So I don't have to transcend out of the human experience. I remain here, but I'm bringing it down. So I'm literally like descending this part of me into it. So it requires me to expand. It requires all areas that are more trapped to expand. So this is one way. As we talk, I'm expanding my field of beingness into its grandness, because there's nothing that holds it. Only beauty comes out of here, you know. So that's just what I really feel. And so working with, for example, speaking light language, codes of light, being in this frequency, these are higher dimensional frequencies. And higher dimensional frequencies, they create first transmissions, first activations. And I should say this too. So Sunday morning, I want to share this. This is a few things that happened real quick. So Sunday morning, I woke up, like a hallelujah experience, because I've been waiting for Team Above to give me access to be able to start doing healing sessions, personal healing session, private healing sessions again. So it's been about a year plus that I haven't done any private healing sessions. Every now and then I do Skype session, but no one-on-one, because the energy had to be focused on the channeling with the masters, and also the energy focus for Michael to do the private healing session. So I woke up and the Team Above says, so, you know, most of you know, I've been working with a lot of the light language. It's been a number of years, but that part of me has also been hidden, because I've been so heavily judged with, this is gibberish. What are you saying? It's just lines and dots. How stupid. It doesn't even make sense. So I kind of like for 6 years, been 5 years holding it. Every now and then at my events, it will come up. And then I started teaching light language class to help the others, and we had like 19, participants and what have you, to help them. So anyway, it's been evolving. So I woke up Sunday morning, and Sunday morning, I received clear insight. It's time to help people, to provide healing. Michael hasn't experienced this, so I can't wait for Michael to experience this, but it has to be done after 12/21. I was asked very, very clearly. So in the private session, so the individual only experience light transmission language. That's it. It can be done in person here or via Skype, and also in a group setting. So person, if it is, they just lay down, and there's a first there is a clearing of their 12 chakras with the different sound transmissions of pure light language, tone, pitch, and frequency. They're just purely, so first their 12 chakras have to get cleared, then the next set of 12 languages are brought. And isn't it interesting, the 12 patterns of the art I have to create with the language? Isn't it funny? We're after Morocco, so it all lines up. So then I will bring the transmissions through. So the first part of clearing is one by one, it is clear. Then there's a little bit of a rest period, and I don't use other instruments, anything. I'm the pure instruments of just language transmissions. Then the next set, the person has to tune into something that I'll connect them with. And then all I do is I might give them a key to hold on to. I have to see if there's a key they receive. So write it down, and they hold on to the key or place it on their body. And then there's just pure transmission tones coming in, different languages for their body. So first is clearing from earth up, and then it comes out from the universe down. And that's it. That's the 1 hour session. I can't wait for you to experience this. And then I can do this at a group experience. So people lay down, and that's it. That's purely it. And it's going to be magnificent and incredible. And I was experiencing that myself first with the team. I was like, this is freaking unbelievable. Like, I'm so joyful, and I feel so liberated, free, that I can just be. I speak so many different light languages, and like, I don't have to hide it myself. There's no hiding in that. I can just bring the next level. And of course, creating these candles for you guys, like Maida, thank you, Gia, thank you, Doreen, thank you. Just the joy that I get to be with these transmissions, that I can just allow it. It's so freeing. It's so liberating that I can just be. And it's been also part of my own involvement in number of years holding this energy, that it's expanded. It's been expanding in me for a while, but I stopped the Galactic Shamanic Sound Medicine personal healing session and also the group about 1.5 years now. And I was told next level is coming. So first it had to be the channeling the masters that will continue, and then this. I can't wait for you to experience it.
Forward to it.
I know,
amazing.
And I feel that was also help you with your Archangel Michael healing, because you'll see how it aligns with the Skype sessions. Yeah. Exactly. So that's what I want to absolutely do, and I'll be happy to create that for you. So it feels very liberating, because I don't need anything. Person can be on Skype sitting on a chair, and I can easily like run that through and help you clear, because these are the light codes. So the light codes predominantly help support completely your light body, this divine being of you. And Michael, what you don't know is when you were in the other room Sunday, I woke up and I just completely spoke light language entirely through me, through my body. I went to the grocery store. I put the headset on and I was just speaking light language, and I didn't stop. And that's what supported my own being. And while I'm creating the candle, I'm constantly around that, It's so freeing. There's no limitation. I need nothing, no tools, nothing. It's pure tone transmissions. And totally from here, there's no head consciousness whatsoever. And that's what, again, going back to the divine being supported in the human experience. And that's, to me, the ascended state, recognition that we are way more than a human form. We are an incredible, incredible extension of divine in form that has all these incredible gifts and beauty. And the most beautiful things when we get to share this free space of love and its expression, its creativity, and its celebration. And that's what I was looking for, Michael. I was like, Michael, I just want to celebrate this, but it can't be fully celebrated till this part of you is like lifted. And I felt, because now it's been several days, 6 days, are we not like feeling it? The celebration, the joy, and like, wow, like we don't have to say we're worthy of it, we're deserving of it. Doesn't it feel it just is? Natural, like there's no force or nothing. Nancy, absolutely, I'll be happy to set up that session for you too. It just has to be done after 12:21. So after 12:22, because we have to go through the 12:21 gateway. We just did 12:12. So after 12:21, then I can set up appointments. And I just can't do it before it, because it's a very strict, I just listen when they tell me something. I listen to the team. Okay, no problem. So I have to do that, then it's open. So you can happily just send me an email, please, honeyb1111@gmail.com, and that way I can start to organize it. Because the minute I put that, I had several people like, my God, I want this session. Because those that feel caught, it's like this. It's just the transmissions, is activation, is clearing, activation, transmission, anchoring. That's it. That's it. It's very, very simple and easy, and liberating. And so that's where we are. So regarding these energies we are in, we finished 12-21. 12-12, we're getting ready to go to 12-21. And I just feel that if you would just allow yourself, I will speak to my female encounters in female form. One of the messages I left with one of my girlfriends, she's so close to Michael and I loves us so much. I said, I want you to understand, I am dedicated and devoted to my earth mission. My earth mission is the rise of the sacred divine feminine. It's to honor the fullness in its as a container of beingness, so that the sacred divine masculine can rise. I'm so clear in this, and I cannot serve it properly if I'm betraying my heart. I cannot betray my heart. My heart is the key in this code of light. So with trust, with love, I surrender to that voice that's been inside for weeks and several months, that Michael and I we either have to go apart, we gotta come together. Very difficult because I love him. You know, we have so much good going on for us, but it wasn't enough. And how silly does that sound? Like, you know, what do you mean it's not enough? Isn't he a wonderful man? Da 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 da. Yes, but the inside, it required bigger part of it to step forward, because it is of service, it is of mission, and the mission cannot have any fear in it. So I can only speak to that. If there is a part you know is so true, I invite you to surrender to it and stand tall in it. And when you surrendered, you just breathe in it and you end your own struggle. I ended my own suffering. It wasn't Michael that was creating the suffering. I was creating my own suffering by not to my heart. Because part of it was I didn't want to lose him. But, you know, the other part of me, I was compromising the mission, my divine mission, which is the divine aspect of me. So by honoring that, it helped put things into motion, and then in trust, this part was able to rise. Now we are benefiting from the fruit of it. So I can only speak to you in female form, my dear ones. Listen, honor, don't deny, don't betray it, honor it, and be willing to, however way is going to go, acceptance of it. You liberate yourself. That's my message. And that's as we wrap up this year. What message do you have for the male encounters?
I feel that it's a very important time as the masculine divine is to see that it is the rise of the feminine, and that is also the rise within the feminine within ourselves. And I find with the rise with the feminine in ourselves is to be more compassionate to ourselves, be more loving to ourselves, be more nurturing to ourselves. I find that right now, there is such an elevated level of masculinity within the men, as in with the women. And so as that feminine divine rises within each of us, we really have to honor that within ourselves. We have to take that space. We have to, in all the pain and all the suffering that's been moving through, to give love to that. I feel to surrender to that. I feel that's one thing that is a gift, because when Honey spoke to me earlier, and really recognizing that you spoke very openly about there's a lot of pain within you that needs to be healed. There's a lot of things that need to be transformed. And if we as men can just hold this space and just provide that safety that security, that protection, that energy from the heart. Then it gives women to release all of the pain, all of the anger, all the suffering, because it's that time to release, to let go, to surrender, and really to look within to say, yes, that's there. That is there, and that too needs to be loved. And for that to happen, it's recognizing as that masculine divine that there is strength in love. There is strength in courage. There is strength in that ability to express. And by being that automatically allows the space to transform with another individual, just by being what we want to create. Yes, I know many of us can look at someone saying, well, that won't happen. That's impossible. But do you know, if each and every one of us can just be what we want to create, that energy automatically transforms all around us without saying, well, it's impossible to change my husband. Well, it's impossible to change my brother. It's impossible. Well, actually, no. If we actually be the love that we are, be the belief and faith and will that we can create, be the courage and confidence, and that radiates outwardly, and that naturally shifts without pointing to someone to saying, I need to fix you, mind. I need to change you, mind. I need to, alter this mind. Then we know that as we come from that heart, it gives that message to keep that feminine within, because really the masculine energy is at such an imbalanced area that feminine needs to fully rise. As it rises, it's a duality, because when we think of rising, we have to push. Actually, we have to surrender to it, because when we look at feminine energy, it's that soft, nourishing, compassionate. So as I say this to my brothers that need to soften, I also say it to my sisters as well, to soften the hearts, to soften the anger, to soften the pain, to soften the frustration, because there's a lot within us. And the more we can love that pain, love those areas, that's going to allow that balance to come forth, because when we're at equal balance of feminine and masculinity, that allows the God sent through to create that equal power that we can all rise together. And right now, it is this fifth dimensional frequency that is being called upon us. So the message that I really want to say is, it's time to love more, to be more love, to nourish, to be as compassionate, and to play, to be innocent, to have joy. A lot of what we speak, there can be a lot of intensity. There can be a lot of energy that is like, well, I'm living my spiritual path, and I got to do this, and I got to do that, and it's this mental energy. But at the end of the day, there is this human experience that we've been gifted to be here. And yes, in the divinity, which I feel is incredible, there's still this playfulness, this innocence, this feeling that no other being in this world can actually be in the human experience, because we are here to feel. We're here to experience. We're here to enjoy. We're here to express, to manifest. And if we keep reminding ourselves that's the joy of the human experience,
because that's really what awaits us, right?
The joy, the happiness, the playfulness, the innocence. Really, it's how we create that focus, and more important, the attention of what we want to create versus what we don't want. That allows our natural light to rise, because realistically, as light beings, we are just expanding our light in love. And as we expand it with higher vibrations of joy, higher vibrations of happiness, higher vibrations of love, then we're opening up every little code, every little switch box to come into our fullness of truth. And it all starts within our heart.
And when it is grounded in the truth of divine, it's sustained. When it is not grounded in that place, it kicks you out. Part of it is because of the carbon within the DNA. It still has to be shined, so the crystalline is showing up. So there's a process of this that is recognized within, and I feel there's that sacred marriage that's coming in within to really take place. Like I saw within my lungs, Yeshua and Mary Magdalene, the merging of my own Yeshua and Mary Magdalene sacred marriage inside of me. And there's nothing more holy that I'm bowing to each part of it in its union of divinity inside my own sacred flames. And from there that I get to share that place with Michael, and I feel we're becoming the divine. We're moving to that divine aspect in our fifth dimensional frequency, because we'll be going that way. So as the soul is eternal, this idea of death has been the biggest lie ever told. So as our earth body, goes back to earth, we move further, and we move further in our next journey to how we're evolving. This space and time we incarnated into really requires the highest practice of love into the most densest, darkest, most contracted areas of our lives. And so, especially if we're light workers, bringers of light, we purposely have chosen the densest, the most dysfunctional, the most challenging, because we have to bring the love to it. We have to bring the action of love is from the heart, and the action of love is where the light would transmute all of that, because it's our God's power. So it's not just said in the head, it has to be processed through the emotional body. It has to move through our physical body, so it becomes the crystalline matrix,
And just to put it to the most simplest level, it's activating our hearts so that we can bring forth this love. And that activating that heart, it's taking that action within that makes and creates, and that beingness that comes forth.
The action.
The action of activating your heart by doing what creates that joy and happiness, creating what it is within you to enjoy that, and to keep that focus on there without the doing and the going. It's the beingness of it, because we can run around and try and go, but it's that beingness and keeping that activation open so that heart and love can be a constant versus the chasing. Because many times we want to look outwardly to do things. It's going within.
But still, there's an action. We just said doing, right? So I feel
well,
there's a daily,
the beingness is
daily
the action.
celebration of the love. I feel is so important. Daily celebration of the love that you are, the being that is you, the divine that is you. What is that daily celebration? Consciously feeding that. I know you're pointing. It's almost no problem. But we have a lot to share. Consciously feeding that is so necessary, because it's a flame that you don't feed it, it's going to go out. You have to consciously attend to it. So we're so grateful that you got to be with us. Thank you, Demetrius. Thank you, Doreen. Thank you, Gia. Thank you, Maida. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Paula, for visiting. I don't know who else was there. I can only see the ones of you that stopped by and made a comment here. Thank you so much. We're very grateful for your comments. If this video resonated with you, please repost the video link on your Facebook page. Share it with others. Through that, we're helping others. We're all here together. We'll get back next Friday. We'll have our tea time. See how you're doing with that. And would that be the 21st? Oh my gosh! Because we return back to Miami the 20th. We'll be together with you at 12:21. At 12! I just get so excited. So we'll see you next Friday. Oh my gosh. Friday Tea Time Ascension Talk 12:21. How freaking incredible is that? I just got super excited, Michael. So let us offer this prayer as we close out. Dear sacred flames, dear eternal flame of our true essence, our divine being, behold us, ground us, anchor us in the depth of our inner truth so we are free and liberated from the bondages of our own limitations. Let us bring the love that we are into our own shadow, transmuting our own darkness into light. Let us be the master of our own divinity that we come from in this temporary extension, and allowing ourselves to be the radiance of the full spectrum of light in the rainbow beings that we are, in its combination of the radiance of the pure white light, in that innocence, in that glory, and the true beauty. Thank you for beholding us in this Venus Friday with the energy of Venus, the ninth dimensional Christed consciousness. May the Christ energy, the Christed being become all the way anchored in all of our particles, our cells, our neurons, our transmitters, our organs, our bones, our muscles, our tones, our skin, and every part of us. So we radiate only the light of the universal force within. Thank you so much. Ahurate, ahirate, kuate, eate, eahe, eaturu, kuahe, eahi, uruku, uturahe, eahi, eashitiki, iitiki, uratu, utu, uruku, ai, eahiti, ahu, ati, 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 ati. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll see you next Friday celebration. And happy day to you. Thank you, my love. Yeah. It was a beautiful talk.
Very beautiful.
We love you all so very much. Have a magical day.